What's up? Welcome to another Jags podcast. This is our post-game episode. With the Texans and the Jags game happened, and it wasn't pretty.
Call that a game?
No, it was one of the worst ones. I mean, 26-3, not a great score. If you can't tell, I'm here with Joey.
Absolutely.
How's it going, Joey?
Great.
Doing good. Doing good. That's awesome. Were you able to get up in time to watch the game?
I was.
After the Florida-Georgia festivities.
I actually, the festivities were not that festive for Florida-Georgia because I was PO'd at the end of that game.
As a Florida fan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. You're a Georgia fan now?
Yeah, you know, I like to. I'm on this new thing where whoever wins, I root for their team.
So you're a Clippers fan as well?
Yeah,
Like
huge Clippers
Magic,
fan.
Well, Magic doing
yeah,
right,
big Ravens fan now. Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, yes, I was able to make it. I listen to the first little bit of it, and then hit up church, and then watch the third, fourth quarter, and wish I hadn't done any of that.
I mean,
other than church,
I watched the entire game, and I wished I hadn't. It was terrible.
I mean, honestly, I think that it was a stink fest. There's really not a lot to say about it. I mean, the good things I can come up with are few and far between.
There's not a lot.
There's not. I mean, really, like, what was your favorite moment of the game? Like, what was something to take away from that was positive?
I thought Keelan Cole played well. Keelan Cole, my guy, I've been beating his drum all offseason.
He did show back up for the first time in like a year and a half.
I thought Raquel Armstead showed up. First time we've seen him actually be involved.
That's a.k.a. Rock.
Rock, right? Yep.
Okay.
He had 5 receptions in the game. Didn't do much rushing, but as a receiver, he did pretty well. Gardner Minshew threw for 309 yards.
Yeah.
Anything for you? No, I did 2 picks, but I think some of it was garbage time. But no, not a lot good in that game.
I'm gonna stay away from the Foles Minshew thing. The what jumps out of me, just not with that game, but over the weekend, is Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, 2 quarterbacks that nobody said outside of our podcast for the most part that was going to be any good in college, weren't going to make it, weren't going to do anything, and oh my God.
We were beating that drum.
You can go both of them.
You can go back into our podcast history. I think we have almost over 100 episodes posted between.
I think more than that.
Reactions and live shows and things like that. Go back to the drafts of those years, and we wanted both those guys.
I think it was multiple. Like if you're a winner, you're a winner, and both these guys are winners and tough as heck. I mean, Watson's like I was falling out the week before.
That's
almost
insane.
And I mean, it just makes me so mad.
All right, well, let's jump into the Twitter questions. The Twitter questions are why we're here. We're here because of you guys. If you don't yet follow us on Twitter, we're at Another Jags Pod. We're doing some stuff on Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. YouTube, you can check out Joey and me sitting in the Another Jags Podcast studio.
As long as we won't get, what's it called?
Copy strikes.
Copy strike.
We learned our lesson from YouTube.
Last week.
We learned our lesson not to post game film or a live game running in the corner.
Hey, it was worth a shot.
We learned our lesson though. But we do want to look at what you guys had on Twitter. So let's take a look. First one is Jason Ratt, and this is about the game. He says, this was just absolutely frustrating from the beginning. Decided to play Madden instead of watching Minshew lose his job.
The question I would have back to you, first of all, is did you play Houston versus Jags in Madden?
That would be a good question. Most people play online, though.
So you don't have a choice.
No, you don't have a choice online.
There a little bit.
Yeah, you are a little bit.
My
It's
bad,
okay. And, I jumped on Madden and played a little quick play game the other day and just absolutely destroyed the other guy. I run shotgun inside zone probably every other play.
All right, Al Bundy, you still got it.
All right, but look, here's what made the game frustrating to me. And I just want to bring up some stats here because what makes the game frustrating is that Deshaun Watson went 22 for 28 and we seemed like we had him wrapped up in the backfield every other play, but he wouldn't go down. Frustrating. Carlos Hyde goes for 160 yards. That's frustrating, man.
We got to pause there a little bit because that's like the most frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the dude came to us and just took a paycheck and did absolutely nothing. Whether we're toxic at that point, whether we used him right or not. But the guy's running like a beast, man.
He has better blocking.
Yeah.
He has better blocking.
He does.
I think we have a clip of Carlos Hyde running. We do. Let's take a look at it here. All right.
Was it him that trucked Herndon on the goal line?
Yeah, I can't remember. Was that Carlos Hyde? I'm not sure.
Whoever it was, like Oh my.
Yeah, not good. All right, so let's take a look here. I think we have a play here of Carlos Hyde. So we're looking at the Jags. If you're listening to the podcast and not watching the YouTube channel,
says NFL in the corner.
that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. As long as the algorithm can't catch a running game, we're good.
Fair enough. Not
yes,
live.
Yes. So we look at where the Texans are lined up. They're lined up in their basic. They're actually in a 12-man formation. It looks like they have 2 tight ends, and it looks like they have 1 running back. So I'm sorry, it's 21 formation. I got called out for a misformation call on our last video.
I was going to call you out.
I got called out. I'm sorry. This is 21 formation, okay? 2 tight ends, 1 running back. They're 21 tight, if you want to be specific here. And then what they're going to do is see the Jags. Look, I'm not a fan of tight formations because I feel like everything just goes outside eventually. Jags end up not playing Hyde too well here.
That was a giant gap.
I mean, I don't know the defensive
I could have
play
gotten
call.
15 yards out of that gap.
Like, I don't know the defensive play call, but I know that that's not what the defense is supposed to do. If we look, I mean,
can you do that in slow motion so we can see like?
You know what,
possible?
Joey? We can actually.
Let's back that up. That was a giant gap.
All right, so let's take a look here at Miles Jack. I don't know if this is his gap. I don't know if this is Jared Wilson's gap. I mean, Herndon's following his guy. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, who's that?
Yeah, that's Wilson. That's Jared Wilson.
It's totally Wilson's
Yeah, he gets
gap.
caught up in the.
He doesn't know where the ball's at.
I mean, Breon Borders gets caught outside too. I mean, who
Doesn't know where the ball's at.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
at all.
Not ideal what you want to see, but I think it just goes back to the frustratingness of it was a player the Jaguars used to have.
Yes.
And that was just super frustrating.
But we didn't have that player. We had the player that was like, nah. I mean, seriously, dude. The guy, like,
well, the offensive line was pretty ragtag, to be fair.
So
I mean, you had what's his name for the Giants, Flowers playing,
Turnstile?
Eric Flowers. You know, with the left guard who know.
On that note, though, because I don't know if there's any are there Twitter questions about offensive line?
I don't think so. No, actually.
So let's touch on that for a minute because I've wanted to ask you this all week. Haven't had a chance. I mean, to me, it seems like that's where we're severely weak.
Again, another disappointing point because, I mean, we have a lot of money tied up there.
Oh, I'm talking about money. I'm talking about actual plays on the field.
I think they're better than most teams' offensive lines. I think we're top 10 in the offensive line unit. I don't think we play well at times. I think we're young at times. And look, we're starting Cam Robinson, who's technically in his 2nd year with an off year in between. And you have Juwan Taylor, a right tackle.
Juwan Taylor's playing fantastic. Go Getters.
He's doing okay.
Yeah, for a rookie,
he's doing okay.
He's been solid.
He's been good for a rookie. Because, look, we talk about it all the time on this podcast. Rookie offensive linemen are never good.
Never.
I mean, for people to come in the way that who's the Colts guard, that Nelson, to come in the way that Nelson is, or a guy like
you did your magic fingers.
Magic fingers. This is my memory fingers.
Yeah.
Like they don't come in like that.
No.
It's especially nowadays with the college offenses being so spread out and running the spread and running more zone schemes where there's a lot of space in between the linemen. It's not like it used to be where you could bring in a guy that and just dominate. We saw that firsthand with Luke Jokel. Veterans are. Patrick Omame, veterans bringing Cedric Ogbuehi,
Andrew Norwell, Brandon
guys
Linder,
like that are more valuable.
AJ Cann.
I mean, I think we're okay at O-line. I mean, we have a lot of money tied up in it, so we should be.
You're good at O-line.
Yeah, I mean, we have a high second round pick at left tackle. We have the highest paid left guard. We have a high paid center in Linder. Our right guard is Will Richardson, who we kind of all like.
What about the whole rotation thing that we've been doing there?
I mean,
the whole thing about offensive line is like cohesion, right?
I mean, we play better in the second half. So I'm not a big Will Richardson fan, but I'm thinking he's better because we're a second half team. Okay. Let's get to more Twitter questions.
All right.
That way, yeah. No. We did it that way. We don't hit them all. Okay, Mike Wilbraham says, offense and defense were anemic. With the Texans secondary banged up, we could not make yards, and our defense got no pressure or containment. Season gone in a whimper.
Season gone in a whimper. Come on, man. That's a bit dramatic, right?
That's a bit dramatic.
Dude.
But at the same time, Texans are now 3 games ahead.
Well, winning the division, gone. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
your wild card teams are like...
Yeah, they're all just like
good.
Us.
No.
Dude, we totally have a shot at the wild card. We got to go, 5-2?
We have to finish the season 5-2?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the worst wild card team, I think, is the Colts.
And we got 2 of those games against them.
I'm
not saying we're going to do it. I'm just saying, like, the season's not done yet. And we got to talk about Foles like all the time.
Yeah, well, that's we're having a Minshew Foles podcast. That's going to be coming out Thursday or Friday. Joey and me are going to be talking about Joey. By the way, nice shirt, man.
Dude,
shirt.
This is. There's a story behind this shirt.
Well, go ahead and tell us.
The story behind the shirt is like a guy on my team at work, diehard Jags fan, season ticket holder, like every game, all that. And he's a big dude. Like he's 6'4", probably, I don't know. Sorry, Brent, I don't want to like call you out, 290.
Oh, so my size.
Yeah, about like you. Big dude. So he orders like a double XL in this awesome shirt.
Beautiful.
Online. Happens to ship from China. Double XL in China is not quite like a double XL in the United States of America. So he wears it to one game with the buttons about to pop off and is like, Joey, I know you're a Jags fan. Here you go, bro. So
wow.
Yeah. And this is my all-in Jags shirt. I mean,
that's
I'm
a great
still all
shirt.
in. We're not done yet, guys.
Yeah. No.
I would not be wearing this if we were done.
No, I don't think we're done either. Make sure you go on YouTube and check out Joey's shirt and tell us what you think, and we'll give you a link to buy it. No, we won't, because we have no idea where it came from.
There's some factory in Bangladesh. I don't know.
Someone died over that shirt. I agree. Season's probably not over. All right, let's move on to Cole Marone. Cole Marone's at ColeGuy45. He says, could the commentators be any more biased toward the Texans? Certainly felt that way for most of the game.
I mean, aren't they always more towards the team that's winning?
I mean, they were bad. I mean, were they as bad as the refs toward our team?
Dude, the refs were awful.
And honestly, I couldn't hear the game. I went to Whiskey Jack's, and they advertised opening up early for the Jags game, 9 a.m., and they were completely understaffed. It took an hour to get food, 45 minutes to get drinks. At 9:30 in the morning.
That's a bummer.
Completely understaffed.
Bummer.
Awful. Great food, terrible management. Rodney Marney says, thoughts on the game? I didn't get to watch much, but there was zero consistency from all aspects, including reffing. The fact that you didn't get to watch much of the game is the best thing that's happened to you all weekend.
It really was.
I mean, can you imagine wasting his time on that game? Because I wish I hadn't.
Honestly, we'll bring up James, our fallen brother. Like there was a friend of ours who didn't watch the game, texted everybody in our thread. We have this fantasy football thread, and said, "Do not tell. I'm going to be out of the thread. I'm watching the game later on. Don't tell me anything about it." So after the game, James said, "Hey guys, should I tell him not to bother?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Don't waste your family time or the rest of your Sunday by watching that replay later on."
Did you tell him?
He did.
And was he thankful?
He still watched it, but
was he? But
he already had plans.
I would have appreciated that.
I would have appreciated it too. I was like, yes, you've got to tell him that.
Because dude, seriously, don't watch it.
It was not worth watching, man. I mean, it was our first Stink Fest. I mean, in London, whatever, we're supposed to have like the upper hand there. Houston's never been there before, and all that's out the window now. Yeah. I mean, there's a better team, and we've got to deal with them in our division for years.
I mean, Deshaun Watson is unfortunately.
Think about, dude, we didn't have they didn't have Merciless. They didn't have J.J. Watt.
Merciless played a little bit. I mean, I don't know if he got hurt, but he played.
He was hurt coming in and didn't finish.
Okay.
So Merciless basically not there, Watt not there, and they didn't have Fuller, their wide receiver that lit us up deep last time, and they still destroyed us.
And Clowney was traded in the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, offensive line was banged up.
It really couldn't have been any worse.
But we're banged up too, though. I mean, you got Breon Borders out there. You got the dudes we picked up off the street.
I love the guy a pass to DeVille. Who? The tight end.
DeValve. Set the valve. We talk about him all the time. Set the valve. No. DeValve had a decent game, though, to be fair. DeValve had a pretty decent.
To ever say.
I think he did. Okay, let's get your next question here. Angus Seymour was at the game. Ooh. We just kept getting stuck on 3rd and long. Texans were often on 2nd and short, and that's why they won. Game was fairly lifeless, and it seemed like we just weren't doing anything.
It's pretty true, and I hope you at least got to go like around Big Ben and Parliament and say, "Big Ben Parliament, kids. Big Ben Parliament, kid." That's from the movie.
No clue what you're talking about here. No,
oh my God. Vacation, Chevy Chase. Generational, guys. I would like some tweets right now backing up the fact that Big Ben Parliament in a roundabout is one of the greatest quotes of all time.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have nothing else to say there, Jason.
No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that's it. Noah Bennett, and he's at the Noah Bennett, says, what's with our offensive play calls in the red zone? This hasn't been an issue all This has been an issue all season. Before you answer that, teaser, we're going to take a quick break.
I'm good with that.
We got to let our sponsors get a word in. Shout out SB Nation, Overtime Network, MyBookie, I think there's some random podcasts. There's all kind of.
I wouldn't say random. I would say podcasts you want to check out.
Right, like I think Ninja Warrior podcast is on
I
there.
love Ninja Warrior.
So make sure you check them
Are you
all
kidding?
out.
It's like one of my favorite top 5 shows of all time.
Hey, we have some video cut-ups for you on YouTube if you're watching. So stay tuned after this break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to another Jags podcast. This is the post-game episode from the Texans and the Jags, and we're kind of getting your Twitter responses and your Twitter thoughts on the game. And you guys weren't happy, and we're not happy, but according to Joey, he's got the rally shirt on. Season's not over. All in. The all-in shirt.
It's not over.
He's here.
It's bye week.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us. Like, if you haven't followed us yet, I mean, you've probably followed us by now. Go on and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. How about that?
If you haven't followed us yet, tell a friend to follow us.
Oh.
Everybody knows somebody who is a
challenge.
Jags fan.
A challenge.
That isn't listening to our podcast. There should be at least twice as many right now.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen Joey's shirt yet,
I mean, that's worth this podcast alone.
You gotta get on.
I mean,
you gotta get on. And look, if you're not watching our video in our little Another Jags podcast studio, we have some jerseys in the background. Look, I have a bunch of jerseys. These are the 3 I chose to be the backdrop for our show: Maurice Jones-Drew, Blake Bortles, and JJ Redick. Look, I'm getting hate for the Bortles jersey. I am getting hate for the Bortles jersey.
Get hate for the Bortles
Are you kidding
jersey.
me? If Bortles came in
Bortles
here right now and sat in here with us, it'd be the most viewed YouTube.
Dude, if he
clip
came in
of
here
the
right
week.
now, I would give him my microphone and leave.
Like, come on, people! You don't want to hear from Bortles. Oh, whatever.
Nothing
Okay,
wrong with that. I mean,
get out of here.
the Reddick jersey, on the other hand, though, I mean,
Okay, don't talk. That's my boy.
Do you also use the
That's my
studio
boy.
for the
Magic
Carolina
podcast.
Magic podcast?
Yeah, I
Okay.
also use the studio.
Fair enough. It's
for
dual
the
dual
Magic
purpose
podcast.
So
yeah.
All right.
Let's jump back into your Twitter thoughts here and see what we got here. This one's from Noah Bennett. We teased Noah Bennett.
We did
It's
tease
because
him,
I have a
and you
video clip.
went right past him.
Yeah, Noah Bennett. What's with their offensive play calls in the red zone? This has been an issue all season. Let me show you what red zone offense looks like. Okay. This is a play. It's in the second quarter. 6 minutes left. The score's 3-0.
For the record, this is not us in the red zone.
No, we are not in the red zone. We are showing a clip on our YouTube show in the red zone. It's 3-0. Look, honestly, going into like the fourth quarter of the game was in
9-6, right?
Yeah, no, I mean,
9-3,
it was a 12-3, I think. But look, this is how you execute a red zone play. Have you seen anything like this from DeFilippo? I know he gets a bunch of praise, but all this. Okay, the Texans are lined up in their classic 11-man formation. One tight end, one running back. They're going to put a guy in motion. They're real tight like they always are. They find that the Jags are playing man and bunch. I mean, you got to check out of that. But if we hit play here, read option, throw to the tight end, easy peasy.
And you got the guy that should have been like intercepting that jogging.
This isn't Rob Gronkowski.
That's not like overpowering, like special, like athletic ability. That's just like timing.
Like it's
a normal play. I mean, like
look at
over the shoulder. Like he's not even like nobody even like saw he was there.
Like, you don't know if it's Miles Jack. You don't know if it's Najee
Who's
Good.
the guy that even caught it?
Fells.
Who?
Fells is their tight end.
I get that, but I'm just saying it's not like Hopkins like did something amazing.
Darren Fells. That's his one catch of the game, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Red zone touchdown.
Yeah. So that's how you do red zone offense. To answer you, Noah Bennett, why don't we have any of these plays? Don't tell me we don't have a tight end because Darren Fells had one catch for one reception for a touchdown.
Our O-line sucks, dude.
And they knew that, okay, look, who's responsible? We don't know. We don't know the play call. We don't know if Miles Jack or Najee Good.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's one of those
He's
two.
saying, yeah, so it's Najee Jack or
Either
Miles
one of them
Good.
could have stopped that. They just like stood there.
I think it had to be Najee Good. And this lends
But
to
at that point, though, Jack knows that gap's not getting hit.
But Najee Good is – but Jack's probably responsible for the running back.
Who doesn't have the ball?
But Najee Good has to make this play. Like, that is the look. If you got to watch – look, that's the look of a linebacker that's messed up.
Yeah.
That's the look of a linebacker.
Yeah, he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah. His arms are 5 yards away from his feet.
I'm way out of position,
Yeah, that's
bro.
what – I mean –
All right, valid point.
And look, I mean – look, I don't even – look, that's what it is. It is what it is. That's what red zone offense looks like. Thank you, Noah Bennett, but maybe one day we'll have that. Locked and Loaded 06 says, when are we going to stop setting for game manager style quarterbacks? When are we going to stop settling for game manager style quarterbacks? I don't think Minshew's a game manager.
Don't at all.
But to be fair, Foles is. Blake was.
Blake absolutely was.
Blaine Gabbert, we hoped wasn't.
Well, stop there with Foles. You think you have to like dummy down the playbook for Foles?
No, but he's not going to lead the league in passing.
I didn't say that though. I think a game manager is somebody that's like, hey, we've got to instill this playbook and just make sure he doesn't mess the game up.
Like, this is what a game manager is. A game manager is a guy who's going to finish middle of the league in passing yards, middle of the league in passing touchdowns, and he's going to finish top of the league in interceptions
Completion.
not thrown.
Okay.
So that's what Foles is.
All right.
That's what Bortles was. Maybe a little bit down on the totem pole.
But Bortles, I disagree. I mean, I think Bortles, they had to like limit the playbook to make him that guy.
You don't think so? Foles.
I don't think Foles you have to do that. I think Foles you have a completely open playbook, but he's still that guy. That's completely different. Like maybe like a Joe Flacco would be a good example of a game manager that was capable of winning a Super Bowl, whereas Bortles is somebody you had to manage the game to, so you didn't make mistakes.
Better be careful. His jersey's on the wall behind us.
I'm the biggest Bortles proponent of all time. So, but I think that's a different like category of game manager. So maybe you need to break those into
different types of game managers.
Yeah.
Okay. Nick Warren, and he's at Nick Warren 32, says, what, and I cannot stress this quite enough, did I just watch from our offense? Gardner was gun shy, offense couldn't move the ball at all, and we couldn't stop Deshaun Watson with the misdirection plays. Kind of gross.
It was bad. I mean, like really bad. Like that's the first time you can say this year that the Jags were an absolute stinker on offense. I mean, love Minshew. He's done a fantastic job. We'll get into it more in our next podcast later in the week. But, dude, yeah, Fournette didn't get it going. There was nothing on like with the wide receivers. I mean, I think DD being out had that much of an impact.
No, but I think we didn't. I was so scared of this when they hired John DeFilippo, but I think he might have fallen back into his old self of not establishing the run game. Gardner Minshew threw 47 times. Like, I know we were down late, but we were not down until the fourth quarter. Leonard Fournette had 11 carries in the entire game. That cannot be what happens. Fournette is one of the best running backs in the league. He's one of the best offensive player on our team. Maybe DJ Chark. You could maybe argue that. But Fournette only had 11 carries and 5 receptions for only 32 yards. Fournette has to get 30 touches between receiving and running.
It was DeFilippo's worst game ever.
Like, I understand they couldn't get first downs. I understand they couldn't stay on the field. And I understand he tried to get the...
It was time of possession, though. I mean, Houston took that away from us.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did.
They game controlled. I mean, they took the time of possession away with Carlos Hyde, 160 yards, the same Carlos Hyde we had last year. And, I mean, we didn't really have an option at that point. I mean, we couldn't get Fournette going.
But here's the issue is, like, he had 6 carries like at halftime, and he had like no receptions. Like, so like we didn't get his.
Well, he did drop that one like stinker.
But he's our best player. If he drops the ball, you feed him. You cannot give him no touches in the first half. You can't. Like, I understand he was getting a yard or two when you gave him the ball to hand off, but you have to jump it off on a screen. You have to get him involved, and Fournette just wasn't involved, and that's what DeFilippo did in Minnesota that got him fired.
It's true.
He did I mean, you have Dalvin Cook, who turns out to be one of the best running backs from that class that Fournette was also drafted in, and you have to get Fournette involved. You have to, and for whatever reason,
and he has every other game, so it had to have been a scheme going into it. Everybody talked about it, like catch him off guard type of thing, maybe, and then the time of possession got away from him, and it just like fell apart. It was just bad all around, man.
Maybe,
but I think it was.
Minshew throwing almost 50 times, and
I think from
Fournette touching the ball 16 times.
I think
doesn't do it for me.
Coaching to defense to I think it was bad all around. Again, name a guy who had a great game.
I don't think Keelan Cole.
Well, he had a good game.
I mean, 5 receptions for 80 yards. That's true.
Jared Lawrence.
That's true. He didn't have a
good
great
play.
Game.
But
no,
I mean,
he didn't.
Dude, there was nobody that had a good game.
No.
I mean, we almost sacked Watson like 9 times, but nobody sacked him. I mean, it was like just that game, dude. It was a stinker.
Breon Borders is just too involved for me. I know I tutored his praises all offseason, but I didn't expect him to be involved like this.
Who's up?
All right.
I'm actually being serious.
Yeah, I know. He's a DB. Nick Warren also said went to London for 3 points. LMAO.
All right. For everybody that went to London, I'll just say.
I'm sorry.
If you got the package, like, pretty good deal. And London's an amazing city. It's like my favorite city. My aunt used to live there. I've been there like 4 or 5 times. Amazing city. And they speak English. Like, you really can't beat that. Like, it's international and they speak English. So, you know what? Don't talk about the Jags. Talk about London.
But do they brush their teeth?
Yeah. Questionable.
I'm sorry, Nick Warren, that you went. I'm sorry. Willis, and he's at Licecombe, says, I want to see Marone's Wonderlic results.
Who's?
Marone. Do you think Marone's the problem?
I don't.
Me neither.
At all.
Nah, I don't either.
I mean, he's a scapegoat, and he will be, but he's not the problem.
He's not the problem.
I think Marone has, like, managed a bunch of
crazy people.
Children at times.
Yeah.
Like, to a T. I mean, the way he handled the Ramsey situation was like
class act.
That's like a genius, like
absolutely.
Wonderlic. So he's not the problem at all.
No, I mean, look, for whatever reason, the Jags brought in a bunch of guys with a bunch of attitude. Jalen Ramsey, Telvin Smith, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue.
The Florida guy that's at L.A. now.
All those, Dante Fowler. Look.
You said his name.
I had to. Look, for whatever reason, the front office brought in a bunch of personalities, man, and that's certain type of coach. We have seen coaches Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, who's probably the best player manager.
Dude, he's got them at 500 right now with nobody.
He struggled to manage Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben.
Yeah,
dude, it takes a different, special type of coach. Like these coaches that are out there winning right now aren't guys that are managing personalities.
Dude, look at Belichick, man. You get that guy in there, it doesn't matter how good he is. If he causes a stink, done.
Josh Gordon cut. Antonio Brown cut.
Yeah,
dude, he had no problem cutting people or trading people.
No, he'll do it in a second.
Yeah. I don't think Marone's the problem. I understand people have hate for him.
And I hope he sticks around, dude. Honestly, I think he is a good head coach.
I don't think he complains about. And again, like I can only see him in home games and like when the camera pans to him in away games, but I don't think he lobbies enough for penalties. Like I think there's something to coaching. You see these coaches that refs probably hate because they're in their ear all game. Belichick does it. He's in the ref's ear all game trying to get penalty calls. And look who leads the league in penalties called for, like against the other team. It's always the Patriots. It's always these hardballs. It's the guys that are just on the refs all game. Marone's like a cool cat, sits back, doesn't want to disrespect the refs.
Well, I'll have to call you out on 2 things here. First of all, like I've complained about penalties for like 3 years now, and you've said, hey, everybody gets penalties in the NFL. They don't matter. Multiple times.
I'm just talking to his like body language on the sideline. He's not a fiery coach. He's not a guy that's out there yelling at the refs. I feel like the coaches that yell at the refs get the calls.
I think
that's all I'm saying.
I think if your owner is like a powerhouse NFL owner, you get the calls, and if you have a quarterback like Tom Brady, you get the calls.
Maybe the superstars treatment.
I mean, Minshew can get like destroyed in the knee with a tackle with no call, and Brady gets like a brush on the shoulder, and it's like a 15-yard flagrant foul. I mean, dude, it's factual. And if you look at the statistics of like challenge plays this year or arguing like that, the refs are not overturning hardly anything. It can be obvious on every replay.
You still like to see it, though. It makes it seem like he's at least trying.
Would that fire the team up, maybe, is what you're saying?
Maybe, yeah. It does something psychologically.
Would Ramsey have been okay if that happened?
Ramsey,
is that where you're going with the
Ramsey
story?
was staging an exit.
Right,
he was staging.
Just making
everything Ramsey did was tactical.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
Are you kidding me? He blows up over a non-challenge play the week before the primetime Thursday game. That's all staged. Don't sit here and tell me. Oh, but the weeks after he brings a Brinks truck in, and weeks after he says he wants to leave the team, and he could see himself playing for Las Vegas or Nashville. Yeah,
was leaving his baby's mama then also tactical?
Hey, we'll let Golden Tate deal with that one. Not us.
God, UFC.
Brandon,
come on.
Brandon G. Blakel on Twitter says, "Why is the Jaguars' offense? Period. Why is." Basically, like, why do they even exist?
It's like Nietzsche. Are we like getting like Nietzsche? What are we getting like philosophically deep?
He's basically saying, why do they exist? For what reason?
Dude, our offense has not been that. Our offense has been pretty good
Bro,
this year.
We had 3 points, bro. We had 3 points.
And Texans own us.
Against a terrible Texans. How many teams are going to own us? The Colts, the Texans, the Titans? How many teams are going to own us?
I think it goes back to offensive line, which I started the conversation
with. It's not
with.
the offensive line's fault.
It can't not be.
It's not the offensive line's fault. It's not. It's the fact that you don't have a tight end on the team. It's the fact that your receivers are Keelan Cole, and it's the fact that your offensive coordinator refuses to get your running back involved in the game. That's your problem.
He's like third leading rusher.
Bobby Notice, and he's at maybe Bobby. He says, "What did our receivers even do last night? 5 drop passes? Question mark. Good question. Here's what our receivers did. Keelan Cole had 5 receptions for 80 yards. Raquel Armstead had 5 receptions for 68 yards.
Receiver.
Seth DeValve, Joey's favorite player,
not a receiver.
Had 4 receptions for 41 yards. Leonard Fournette had 5 receptions for 32. So basically,
not a receiver. Basically,
out of your top 4 receivers, one of them is a wide receiver,
and that was our 5th string receiver.
And CJ Board had the highest average per catch.
How many times did we say who?
We all saw that coming, CJ Board. And Josh Oliver had more catches than Ben Koyak, D.D. Westbrook because he didn't play, Marquise Lee because he didn't play, and James O'Shaughnessy because he didn't play.
Is Josh Oliver the guy we got from Dallas?
No, it's Jeff Swaim. He also didn't play because of injury.
Is Oliver the rookie?
Oliver is the rookie. Yes, this is his second game. And I think
that's huge then.
No,
thank you, Oliver.
I think he had a catch last week in his first game, and he also had a catch for 4 yards in this game.
I thought you said 40.
No, that's 4.
My God, man.
Okay, here's the last Twitter question.
And to answer that question is nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It's terrible. Fournette is the offense, and he gets 16 touches. That's a great game plan. KT, and he's at halfway back, says, "I'm late, but any momentum we had was completely ruined by a couple bad ref calls, all within one drive, it seems. Not saying our boys would have won, but I feel like they just lost it all will to win. Defense didn't help getting lost by misdirections. Sad day for Minshew fans."
Okay, so, again, I didn't watch the first half. What were the bad ref calls that, ruined our momentum?
So basically, the worst call of the entire game was Calais Campbell got called for lowering the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet to helmet.
Then DJ Chark got a huge play called back because they called him for offensive pass interference.
He pushed off.
He didn't. He really didn't. I mean, it was hand jostling that you see on every single play. Then on the following play, DJ Chark got defensive pass interference that wasn't called. So it was like bang, bang, and then that, and it was just...
So that one drive is what ruined the whole game?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Well, I have to disagree with that. So one drive should never run a game.
It shouldn't, but you talk to a Saints fan who saw their Super Bowl hopes go down the drain on one play.
Game that's different. Though.
It wasn't.
This
it wasn't
tough. It was the first half. All 3 of those were in the first half.
It was a sad day for Minshew fans.
And what was halftime? 9-3.
Yeah.
So none of those plays made the game or broke the game.
Look. If you score there, though, it's 10-3 or it's 10-9. Who knows? Who knows? Look, I'm with you. Look, so to sum it up, man, for me, the offensive coaches have to be better.
Yeah.
For me, the fact that you didn't address tight end in a more serious way than signing Jeff Swaim, a career-injured tight end, and Josh Oliver, who you knew was injured going into the season, came back to bite you. And
I've been touting tight ends for like 2 years now.
And not addressing the linebacker position outside of Quincy Williams, who in college was more of a box safety, and Najee Good and Jake Ryan, who probably will never play a snap as a Jacksonville Jaguar.
What's up with Jake Ryan?
He's gone. He's
not on the IR, is he?
He is, yeah.
So he's done.
Yeah, I mean,
Dang it, man.
yeah. So they tried to backdoor all of these problems with cheap, quick fixes, and it's coming back to bite them in the ass. And that's
because they probably thought they had to pay Ramsey. So thank you, Ramsey. I mean, seriously, going into the season, like they knew that was on the schedule. They knew that.
Maybe. Who knows?
Okay, so if Ramsey was not there with his contract looming, you don't think they would have spent more money on those positions?
Maybe. If they would have thought, if they knew they had the Telvin money, would they spend more money too? If they, What about Unique? What are they thinking about paying Unique? Like I don't know. Okay, let's end this show on a positive note.
You just said Unique. I'm gonna call that out. That was awesome.
That's what everyone on the radio has been calling him. Everyone on the radio has been calling him Unique, so that's where I'm at now. I'm a follower. All right, we're gonna end it here. Joey, anything positive that you're taking? We're a positive podcast.
I will tease our next podcast with a positive. The only positive from that game is the fact that there is no more question about who's starting quarterback next, and the fans will not be complaining about it.
I cannot wait till this next episode because I'm just telling you right now, if you're listening to this one and you haven't listened to our Minshew Foles episode, there's going to be so much debate that it will be worth your time in gold.
Debate, or are you sitting on the fence?
No. Absolute debate.
Oh, bring it.
Yeah. All right. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're at Another Jags Pod. Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. You can find us on Overtime Media, SB Nation. Shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much. And look, we'll be back with you in a couple days with a good episode. So thank you guys so much for listening. And as always,
go Jags.